This episode of the Astro Powder Powdcast is brought to you by Gema. Gema's OptiStar all-in-one control unit leads the industry with a design fusing electrostatics and power feed in one compact device. By combining the powder injector and control unit functionality into one device, you get the highest coating efficiency, fastest response times of powder output, and excellent cleaning performance. For more information, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. Configure it, feed it, optimize it, integrate it. Complete it with Gema.
Breaking old news.
Hello, all you powder coating fans, and welcome to episode 38 of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. Today, we'll be recapping the big stories of 2021. I'm your host, Joe Powder, aka Kevin Biller, and with me, as always, is my colleague, sidekick, and the St. Nicholas of the powder coating world, Nathan. He's ChemQuest Powder Coating Research's formulator dude.
Hi, and we're broadcasting from the ChemQuest Powder Coating Research Studios in Columbus, Ohio. The purpose of the Ask Joe Powder Podcast is to bring the latest news and technical know-how to the global powder coating community. And today we have a very special guest joining us via Zoom. Dame Helen Mirren's going to be calling in and talking about techniques for removing mill scale from hot-rolled steel. So until she connects, we're going to just go through the news stories from the year. Let's get it rolling.
But before we do, I'd like to give a shout-out.
Shout out.
This one is to Mary Biller. She's ChemQuest Powder Coating Research's administrative specialist. She's also one of the business partners and officers of the former Powder Coating Research Group. She's the glue that keeps us crazy powder coating guys together, keeps the boat afloat, keeps the ship steering in the proper direction. But not only that, a little bit of news, she's also a private pilot, and today she passed the written portion of the FAA Certified Flight Instructors examination, so congratulations there, Mary. And finally, today is also our 44th wedding anniversary. Woo! We'll be celebrating. Happy anniversary, babe. Okay, let's get on to a recap, Nate.
All right, let's go back in time to episode 19. Big news on that episode was there's a partnership announced between AkzoNobel and Prismatic Powders. People that, job shops, people that spray small amounts of powder will be very familiar with Prismatic Powders. They're the, guys you can order a pound or two online, but with this partnership with AkzoNobel, that expands the portfolio quite a bit. They say there's, 500 different ready-to-ship powders available.
That's kind of exciting. This kind of puts AkzoNobel into a different position with servicing these smaller type customers. They say standard delivery will be 1 to 3 days, and they also have a premium fast pass service, which customers can receive products on the same day as the order. So, and this is for the United States and Canada. Our next story comes from episode 20, which we posted on January 26th. This one has to do with acquisition, or I should say acquisitions. This is when PPG had announced the acquisition of Vorwag, which is a very old family-owned company, coatings company, located in Stuttgart, Germany. They had celebrated their centennial in 2018. Anyway, really big company, about 1,100 people across their locations in Germany, Spain, Switzerland, Poland, some of North America, China, and South Africa. So PPG really bolstered their stable of coatings technology and production in those parts of the world. This includes liquid powder and film coatings.
All right. Episode 21, Akzo Nobel opened their new R&D lab dedicated to low-cure powder coatings. Akzo opened a new research center at its site in Como, Italy, and this is all focused on low-cure powder coatings for MDF, plywood, thermoplastics, composites.
And, Nate, this is one that this was totally catapulted because of their acquisition of Stahl Performance Powder Coating. Stahl's a research company that's located in Europe. I think they may be Belgian-based, but I know their powder coating efforts in technology were in Barcelona area. So I think Akzo Nobel has really taken a keen interest, and they're putting an investment in low-temperature cure powder coatings, especially with that technology they picked up with Stahl.
Right, the low-bake UV and ultra-low-bake powder.
Yeah, how about that?
I just heard from Dame Mirren again. She said she had to reset her password, but she'll be logging into Zoom. She should be here any minute now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I saw her over the holidays, and that's all we talked about, really, was this, her appearing on this episode. All right, friends, the next story of note in 2021, we talked about it in episode 22, which aired in February. And this was under the category of what gets me mad. And basically, I was ranting a little bit about the supply chain situation, and I think this is not going to be news to anyone, but let's go over it real quickly because this has been with us a long time. Number one, COVID had interrupted logistics on many levels, warehouse staffing, truck drivers, manufacturing people, all sorts of, aspects of the logistics chain. The factory output was also impacted by COVID because, as we all remember, and some of us are still living with, staff was reduced because of people getting ill, but also people were getting quarantined because of exposure. We ran into some issues with short supply. In particular, TGIC was really tight early in the year and kind of throughout a lot of 2021. And it's because there were factory shutdowns in China, where a large amount of TGIC is produced. Apparently, they were shut down for a number of months because of environmental issues that were cited by the government there. So that tightened things. And because of that, people said, okay, we have to switch to an alternate curing agent. And, this is meaningful in all places except for the European Union and Australia. But people said, well, we're going to switch over to HAA, or the beta-hydroxyalkydamide curing agent that can replace TGIC in many cases, which tightened the supply of HAA, which is mainly produced in China and other parts of Asia Pacific. So that was a problem. There was short supply of monomers, and it kind of happened for a couple of reasons. One, there was a big freeze in the Gulf area of the United States, Houston, Louisiana, Mississippi, kind of coastline. But monomers were in short supply, in particular neopentaglycol, which is a key component of polyester resins. Also, isophthalic acid, known as PIA, purified isophthalic acid. And later in this year, terephthalic acid was tight, so pricing was increased there.
Well, the amazing thing is that we were talking about this. It's almost been a year now, and really not much has changed. I think the TGIC has eased up a little bit, but, titanium dioxide went up in price and it hasn't gone down. Polyesters went up in price and haven't gone down.
You don't see them going
tight.
back down, Nate. That's for sure.
Yep.
And speaking of which, epoxy resin prices have gone through the roof. Back in February, we said in some cases price had risen 60% versus what people were accustomed to paying. I think now it's more like 100%. So that's kind of crazy. Because of all these issues, culmination of all these issues, we saw things like BASF, major specialty chemical producer, supplier, they declared a force majeure on antioxidants. Probably had to do with supply chain, not only from logistics, but also from raw materials. So crazy.
Oh, yeah. All right, let's jump to episode 24. This one came out March 19th. From paint and coating industry, IFS announced that the company has broken ground on a new facility near their current headquarters in Gainesville, Texas. So that's a new building to accommodate increased capacity, new technology, and will include a space for manufacturing, warehousing, and development projects.
Yeah, this company IFS, it's privately owned, United States mainly, North American, I guess we could say, company, but they're really on a steep growth arc right now, and doing a great job. Great technology, well-run company, and hats off to them. They're doing a great job. Okay, April 1st rolled around, and we posted episode number 25, and had just more stories about the supply chain being difficult. And, this one came from IPCM, International Paint and Coatings magazine, our good friends in Italy that published that magazine. But they were saying there's an increased demand for raw materials, and the production wasn't able to respond as quickly as they expected because of they talked about a V-shaped recovery, which essentially happened in China before it happened elsewhere. But people turned the tap back down or turned the tap off for a while with supply due to when COVID caused all the shutdowns, and restarting things was really big problem. So we've been kind of, as an industry, playing catch up ever since. So a lot of things going on, and just kind of more of the same. The other thing that really hit back then too, and I think we're all aware of it, but this crazy shortage of containers. It was like, okay, now everybody wants to ship things. People were producing things, and then they said we don't have any containers, and if we do have containers, they're in the wrong place.
All right. It says at the time it said prices of containers between China and Europe have risen more than 400%. And that, I think, is 10x, at least.
10, 12x, yeah, we've heard.
All right, episode 26. This one was April 15th. Exalta announced the introduction of the Exalta Bright Futures Scholarship Program. And this was a scholarship program for students, studying STEM business or technical or vocational fields at eligible partner schools. And it's a scholarship up to $5,000 to help students that are interested in getting into the coatings industry.
Yeah, it's one of those feel-good stories that we saw throughout the year. There seem to be a lot of companies that were starting to invest in the future generations. This is one of many scholarship programs. So, all right, now.
Well, I just got a text from Helen. She said she had to restart her computer. And so I think we should take a break real quick, maybe run a couple ads and, give her time to
give her a little
connect.
time to get plugged in. Okay.
Gama's Optiflex Pro manual gun uses power boost technology, which gives you the industry's highest charging power at 110,000 volts and 110 microamps, allowing for faster and more efficient powder coating. We're handing you more power, more quality, and more control. For a demonstration, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gama.
The Powder Coating Research Group is now part of the ChemQuest Group, proud sponsor of the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. ChemQuest Powder Coating Research is the only independent laboratory dedicated to powder coating technology. We do everything from evaluating raw materials, formulating the next generation of coating, developing new products, consulting, testing, troubleshooting, and training. Our parent company, ChemQuest, provides expert business strategy and advisory services in all aspects of the specialty chemicals value chain, including expertise in both liquid and powder coating. To find out more, visit our website at powdercoatingresearch.com or ChemQuest's website at www.chemquest.com. You can email Kevin Biller at kbiller@chemquest.com. Thanks for listening to the Ask Joe Powder Podcast.
All right, we're back. Episode 28, which aired May 7th. Probably the best news of the year. We wanted to give a shout out, and we did. Our good friend Rick DeVore, who early in the Ask Joe Powder podcast history, episode 5, we gave a shout out to Rick, and we were telling him to get better. And we didn't go into detail about Rick's condition, but now that things have kind of unfolded, he had been battling late-stage pancreatic cancer, and he was in pretty bad shape, my friends. Well, in May, we had good news for our listeners. After months of chemo and a couple operations, Rick has been declared cancer-free and fully cured by his team of doctors. And kudos to Rick's dear friend, Roland Vallon, another icon in the pigment industry, who kept us posted all along Rick's journey. And even more good news, we also heard that Rick has started a non-profit foundation to help people who have cancer and have been released from their jobs and have no insurance coverage. So what a great story.
Absolutely. All right, episode 29. This was another PPG invests $13 million at their Jiading, China facility. PPG expanded their facility in China, including 8 new powder coating production lines and an expanded powder coating technology center to service, technical support and customers across the Asia Pacific region.
Yeah, pretty amazing. It just goes to show how strong the market is in Asia Pacific, specifically in China. So rolling on to episode 30, which aired June 11th, kind of sign of the times back then. The European Coating Show, the 2021 version, was canceled. It was one of those things where the organizers, Vincent's Network and the Nuremberg Messe Convention Center and other European coating show organizers, they just said, we're canceling it. It had originally been scheduled for September, but it was a no-go. And they were just concerned about the spread, obviously, of the COVID virus. They rescheduled the next European Coating Show, which of course is going to be held in Nuremberg, as always, for March 2023.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement with the shows last year. Everyone kind of thought that we were going to be able to go out and do things April and then June and then August and then September, and then some things got just canceled and other things got pushed back.
Well, the craziest one I felt, because of its size and the timing, was when China Coat pulled the rug from underneath their show, and they did it like about 2 or 3 weeks before the show
right before it because we actually had it in our upcoming events. And then the episode released about 20 minutes after they announced that they're rescheduling it or canceling it.
Canceling it. Crazy.
So this also from episode 30, Akzo Nobel announced that they were starting to develop advanced technologies for the automotive industries and specifically with a focus on electric vehicles. Akzo has a history of powder coatings that go on electrical components, but the demand for those sort of protective coatings on electric vehicles really pushed a lot of people to, start developing new technology.
Yeah, this one it was a perfect fit. People talk about perfect storms, but this was a perfect fit because with the high growth of electric vehicles and the way it's been embraced by all the major car manufacturers and even more so by the upstart new ones like Tesla or Lucid or Rivian or there's others I can't even think of, but they built these electric power plants for the cars, which batteries and then the the electric motors and components that connect these things. And they needed coatings that had excellent dielectric strength, good thermal conductivity, good corrosion resistance. And, the answer was already there because these types of coatings were used for electricity generation, non-automotive style, but with, handling high levels of voltage and current. So it was a perfect fit. And, the powder coating industry met the challenge. So pretty cool stuff. All right. In episode 31, which was posted in June 29th, we reported that Akzo Nobel had acquired Grupo Orbis, which is a large coating conglomerate, which had annual sales turnover of about 260 million euros or about 300 million US dollars. But all sorts of coatings, business, technology, including, of course, powder coatings, industrial coatings, and architectural ones as well.
All right, in episode 32, this one was July 27th, and an article in PCI magazine said that Axalta was announcing global price increases on basically everything.
Boy, this was a sign of the times, wasn't it, Nate? And, they said, okay, global price increases. And, this was one that, made the news. But really, all the major coatings companies raised their prices. But, you can also look at, supply chain. All the raw material manufacturers increased their prices significantly at some point during the year, if not for more than once or twice.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the next big news in the industry was published on August 11th. This was our episode 33, and this is where we made the announcement that the ChemQuest Group acquired, and this was the press release. It says acquired industry leader Powder Coating Research Group. That's us, my friends.
Yeah, I know those guys.
Yeah. And basically, real quick, ChemQuest, which is a global business strategy and external technology development firm, with their focus on the specialty chemicals markets, they acquired our fair company, which in the press release they said the leading independent formulation testing and development resource. Which we're based in Columbus, Ohio. But our new CEO said, it's my pleasure to announce the acquisition of PCR Group, an organization I've admired for many years. Kevin and his team are consummate professionals. Both are innovative organizations with deep knowledge in history and strong view for the future. We parallel each other in our approach to clients and delivering on our promises. These are synergies people say they want but rarely get in a merger or acquisition. And this was our awesome new CEO, Dan Murad. So gone really well, and I'm really pleased that we were able to pull this one off, Nate.
I agree. All right. I just got word from Helen again. She says she's in the waiting room in Zoom. Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Nick, can you let her in? Can you let Helen in?
Dame Helen?
Yeah, on Zoom.
Yeah. 1 sec.
All right. Episode 36. Diamond Vogel celebrated the groundbreaking of their new innovation center. And that was a $15 million building. It was an expansion on their Orange City, Iowa campus.
Yeah, these are good people. We've known these guys, for years. And, Diamond Vogel's I think it's a third or fourth generation. I think it's probably third generation, family company. And they've done an incredible job. It's nice to see them flourishing and investing in innovation. This is specifically for innovation. They're going to add 60 research and development scientists to their staff, and they've done a lot for their little corner of the world, northwestern Iowa, and it's just it's good news, and we give them a lot of credit.
All right, in episode 37, this seemed like a bit of a trend in 2021. The Sherwin-Williams also announced that they were breaking ground on their new global R&D center. That's pretty much all the major ones are.
Yeah, and Nate, I think what happened was I think there were plans in 2020, and I really do think it was, there's that movie, The Day the Earth Stood Still. Well, this was the year, or at least part of the year, where the Earth stood still in 2020. And I think in 2021, people said, you know what? We got to get on with our business. And this one is another, it's a feel-good story, but Sherwin-Williams, as everybody knows, is, one of the biggest paint companies in the world. I think they may be the biggest one now. And they've done a wonderful job of investing in their hometown, Cleveland, which is, where I was born and grew up. So doing a great job for Cleveland.
Yeah, they're expanding the global headquarters that's in downtown Cleveland and the R&D center, which is in Brecksville, which is just outside of Cleveland.
Yeah.
So they're really investing in this R&D center.
Yeah. Great job. And, it should be good for all the people working at Sherwin-Williams and definitely for their customers and for the community around them. All right. Well, that wraps up our year, Nate. I think it was a good year overall. It
was a strange year, but everyone's kind of hanging in there, I guess.
Yeah. In spite of all the difficulties and challenges, I think as an industry, we've done pretty well. I know a lot of companies were growing. I know there was challenges with all sorts of things, everything from staffing to raw material supplies to shipping. But the industry has forged ahead. Okay, our powder coating friends, here's wishing everyone a safe, a healthy, a prosperous, and an enjoyable 2022.
And you can find us online at askjoepowder.com. You can subscribe to the podcast on whatever application or site you prefer to get your podcasts on. If you want to ask a question to Joe Powder, the email address is askjoepowder@yahoo.com, or you can call and leave a message at country code 1-478-2-ASK-JOE. That's 1-478-227-5563. This has been a production of the ChemQuest Powder Coating Research. Our music editing and stingers are done by Nick Page. I'm really sorry we couldn't make it work with Dame Mirren at this time. It just, how these things go with the Zoom calls and having a bad connection or whatever. But if you join us next time, we're going to have Dave Navarro, and he's going to be talking about using carboxyl functional acrylics to improve detergent resistance in your hybrid formulations.
And keep your powder dry, my friends.
Thank you for listening to the Ask Joe Powder Powdcast. This episode was brought to you by Gema. Gema powder coating systems offer you greater efficiencies while producing high-quality results. We provide the very best in powder delivery, application technology, and connectivity for smarter factory automation. With Gema, you get maximum performance and repeatability whether you are on the shop floor or away from it. For a demonstration, call 877-437-6771. Once again, that's 877-437-6771. And be sure to mention, Ask Joe sent me. When you want to know that everything is covered, complete it with Gema.
All right, well, that wraps it up. I don't know.
Should we make some predictions about the news in 2022?
I don't think so.
More supply chain issues after the Godzilla attack.
Yeah.